Hi guys, this is Debbie with Debbie J's Crafting Corner. Today I'm going to be using some new products from Scrappy Tales to create a new Halloween card. The new release from Scrappy Tales is all, well, part of the new release, the part that I got anyway, is all Halloween stuff, so I haven't decided 100% what I'm going to do, but what I am going to do is I'm going to start off with the Flying Bats stencil because it's bats and I think it's cool. And I'm going to use some of my Lunar paste and just add some bats to the front of a panel. I think that is going to be kind of cool. And let's get out a little bit of this Lunar paste. The Lunar paste that I'm using today, or at least for this part, I'm starting off with the triple berry because I think that purple is pretty and would look really good on a black background. So I'm just going to add some of that down and then just spread it out using a scraper, and then I'll set that aside so it can dry. So let's clean up the excess because I don't want to waste any of it. And let's see what this looks like. Oh, I love, love, love that. Decided to also use one of the dies. This is from the Slimline Graveyard Borders, and I'm just cutting part of it off using a piece of scrap. So now I've got this piece of graveyard to go across the front of the card, and this does dry fairly quickly. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit longer though, because you can kind of see I did use kind of a thick layer there. So if I put this in front, we've got the bats coming up out of the graveyard, which I think is gonna look pretty cool. Okay, I decided to also cut out one of the cats from the Halloween Animals set and cut out all of the little ghosts from Spooky Ghosts. I may have to cut out more. For the cat, I'm just cutting out of a scrap of black cardstock. Let's take a look at the little kitty. So I think that is pretty cute. And then we've got the ghosts, and I cut the ghosts out of some vellum. To be honest, this is my favorite way to use vellum. It doesn't cover up the entire piece that you're putting it over, but I think that's going to look super cool. And there are 3 spooky ghosts in this die set. But I also want to add a sentiment. So this is kind of what I've got in mind. I don't have the layout completely decided or anything, but just general. We'll have our ghosts up here. 3 may be too much, but that's okay. I'll have my graveyard, and then a little kitty kind of sitting in front on one side or the other, but I still need a sentiment. So I'm going to use one of the sentiments out of the Witch's Brew stamp set, and I pretty much just need to decide which one is going to fit. You Are Fabulous works. Just a little Hocus Pocus would work. Witching You a Haunted Halloween, and that's the one I think I want to go with. This one, just a spooky little greeting to wish you happy trick-or-treating. That one is a bit too big to go on what I've got left here. So I think what I'm going to go with is the Witching You a Haunted Halloween. But I'm going to arrange everything over here in my Misti to see if this is how I want to lay it out, and that'll give me an idea of where I want my sentiment to go, and then I can stamp that out. Okay, so we've got... I also can trim off some of the graveyard if I want, so that I have more of the bats showing. And I think that probably is what I'm going to do. So that means I would need to basically stamp the sentiment as high as possible to give me more space to be able to remove. And then I can put my little kitty up over here, or even right beside the sentiment. Okay, so I'm going to use this piece that came with my creative corners. And by putting it right up against the edge of the corner here, or the edge of the Misti here, I can make sure that it is a perfect right angle. So I'll just pick that up with my Misti. Now I can take this other piece of cardstock out because all of this texture is going to make it not stamp very well. Put this back into the corner. And then I'll stamp that out in some black ink. I'm going to use Gina K Amalgam ink in, I believe this is Nocturne. And this is a brand new stamp, so it's probably going to need a couple of goes to get that color to go down well. Okay, one more stamping. And now I can start putting everything together. Okay, I am using one of my colored pencils to add just a little bit of yellow to the eyes so that it'll look a little bit more like Kitty Kitty can see. Kitty has eyes, right? Anyhow, now I can go ahead and start basically cutting and assembling everything. First off, the panel, of course, is going to be too big if I want my little white border or little black border around the edge. So I'm going to trim that down just a little bit and then cut this again at 5 inches. So now when it goes onto my card base, it's going to have that little bit of an edge all the way around. Now for this one, it's basically going to need the same kind of thing because now it is too big for my panel. I do want to make sure that that sentiment is lined up because the hill doesn't really matter as much. So I'm going to use my finger guard as a guide for that. There is a mark that's about, I think is about a 1/4 inch from the edge, but there's a little ridge there and I can cut right there and it'll be pretty much, this is going to be parallel with the bottom of the card, which is awesome. And now I can just trim off a little bit from each end, again getting it down to that 4-inch mark. Okay, so this is going to fit perfectly on the front of my panel. One thing I am going to do is I am going to pop that up on some foam. And I'm going to use some foam tape for that. This is so that it can make sure that it is, it has dimension, but it doesn't have too much. And you know I love my foam tape. I'll go ahead and put some up at the top part here. That way I can trim off the bottom if I need to, if I have too much foam. This is going to go well, I think. Okay, and I think I'm also going to add a little bit of shadowing on here as well. Okay, so for this, I'm going to use some black soot distress ink and this little brush that I got from Amazon, and just add a little bit of shadowing, mostly to the gravestones. And this is one of the reasons that I absolutely love making Halloween projects. I have more ink there than what I intended, right? But that's okay because with Halloween stuff, even if it looks a little grungier than you wanted in any area, that's okay because it looks like you meant it to be that way. And yes, one of the larger blending brushes would probably go faster on some of these, but I wanted this little one for these little details so I could get in those little crevices a little easier. And I just noticed that there is a zombie hand right there. That is kind of cool. Okay, so that can go there, and then I want to have some of my ghosts. So where do I want my ghosts to come out? And they can as well go kind of over the edge. So if they go over the edge, that just means you'd be trimming them off. And I think I may just go with these two And for these, it's a little harder to adhere them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little bit of glue over the Lunar paste, because that's already a different color, right? And there's already texture there, so it won't, I don't think it's going to be as visible if I put it over my bats when I stick this down. Let's spread it around a little bit so it's not clumpy. Okay, so I've got that one down. Now I need to put one down. Put some more glue down here. So that part will adhere. And I can see it some, but I don't think that's really going to matter all that much. Another way to do this would be, of course, to use, I'm thinking maybe my dot liner adhesive may work better. But again, it's kind of where it's going to have a little bit of trouble being able to go very much, you know, have much on there, because it's not going to be sitting completely flat. Okay, just add a little bit there. So now I'm going to add a little bit here. I'm experimenting. It's been a while since I played with vellum, and this is one of the reasons why. Just adding a little bit of the dot liner in different places, and then try sticking that down. And you can still see it, but it's not too bad. Okay, let me go ahead and adhere my little my little graveyard to the front. I'm going to line that up right with the bottom. And then I can add my little kitty. Okay, so now I just need to add that to the front of my card base. I'm going to trim off a little bit of excess from the ghostie's arm, though. There we go. And there we go. This is going to finish up this project for Scrappy Tales. You guys have a wonderful day. Check out this playlist to see some more projects where I'm using Scrappy Tales products, and I will see you soon. Talk to you later. Bye, guys.